Hey guys, RC Upgrades and Reviews here. Today I will be showing how my Summit, which has been broken for a while, is going to get fixed from the many problems that it had, including broken bumper mounts, a dodgy differential, and malfunctioning mini servos. This will be a multi-part series of it being fixed from beginning to end. As soon as it is revived, we will put it up to one of the toughest challenges that it has ever faced, so stay tuned and subscribe to see that coming up. It has gone through a lot, but this is one of the biggest breakages I've ever had. Currently, it is working, but I decided I'd video document it all since it was quite a large breakage. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. It's Jack here, and today we're going to learn how to take apart a Traxxas Summit differential. So, what you're going to need is, something that's not necessary, is this little wheel wrench. You don't need that, but I prefer to take off my wheels when I do this type of thing. It just makes it easier. It's more like nimble, I guess you could call it. A 2mm hex wrench, and then a 2.5mm hex wrench. You're gonna need those things. As I know, you might need a razor blade later on, but I don't think you will. I have taken apart a differential before, but I didn't actually take apart. I got to the differential assembly, but I didn't actually take it apart. So that part you're going to be learning with me, but actually getting to it is going to be fun. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to flip your truck over. This is why having the wheels off is helpful. You should be able to stand it up on its body posts, and the body posts are pretty strong from my experience, so I think they should hold up. I'm going to be accessing the rear differential, so forgot to mention that. So if you're not trying to get to a rear differential, leave, because the front one might be different since it's tuned for turning. So next, what you're going to want to do is at the back here, there's this skid plate, and right here there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws on this skid plate that you're going to want to take off. So we're going to do that now. Okay, so once you have those 4 screws off, this should just lift off, and yes, I know it's chipped right there. That's pretty bad. It's chipped. It should be equal on either side, and it should say TRX, but it doesn't. So yeah, okay. Next, you're gonna want to get a pair of pliers. If you're smart, you watch videos. You watch the entire video before you actually do it. So, you want to do that right now because, like I said, you might have only gotten out those tools, but you might need these. I only said to get out those tools, but you might need something else as well. So there's going to be 4 pins that are going to stick out. There's going to be one right here, and then one right here, and one right here. They're going to be pretty obvious. You're just going to take a pair of pliers and just pull them out. Same story over here. You just kind of have to work them out. Come on. And then they're about that long when they come out. And this should be free now. The A-arm should be free. Actually, what we're going to want to do now is, I actually messed this up. So, like I said, watch the video first, because then you'll be in a stupid situation like me. You're going to want to actually take off the bumper down here. Okay, finally, I got my bumper disconnected. An assembly like so. Okay, alright. So now that that's done, we can remove the actual shock body mount thingy bars right here. That little guy right there. Okay, nice big screw. This screw and that screw. That one and that. This one and this one. So we're gonna try that. Okay, those 3 screws are off now. Okay, so this shock tower mount, it goes on here, and if you just pull backwards like that, it should come off. So here's your shock tower. So if you want to replace that, that's how you do that. Just place that there. So now the rear end of the Summit looks a bit bare, but so what we're gonna do now is we're going to undo the links to the cantilevers on the rocker, to the cantilevers for the suspension. Okay, so there it is there. And then it should disconnect. So next, there's these 2 pins right here. And we're gonna want to take pliers again and pull those out. They're much longer this time because they go all the way through the AR. Nice pin. Down here, I'm not sure if you can see it with this lighting, but down here, there, if you spin the drive shafts around enough, there should be these 2 pins here. Actually at this point, I probably should have thought of this earlier. Rest it on a tire. But, yeah, so, oh, now you can't see it. Ooh. So if we spin the drive shafts around enough, there should be a little grub screw, on the yoke, not on this part, on the yoke that actually is in the, that's attached to the differential. Then your drive shafts should come out, okay? But there's 2 more screws we need to take out before the actually whole rear assembly comes off. Are these 2 screws down here. There's one here and one here. And we're gonna want to remove those. This is for the rear, for the suspension, for one of the links, not actually connected to the cantilever, but just to help rotate a bit. So then this thing will come off, which is basically just your rear plate that makes it look cool. Your whole thing should just come off in a big bunch of parts. Put these to the side, you don't need these. You actually have to remember which side goes where. Your center skid plate needs to come off. Keep that little trapdoor shut. Okay, so there should be about 8 screws, if you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then the whole center skid plate should come off. Aha! Okay, so just play with it for a while and eventually your center skid plate should come off. You see that little screw right there? I'm going to take that off and then I'm going to see what I have to do next. What I think you have to do now is you have to remove the bearing bar or the cantilevers rotate. I think I actually have to remove the shock from the cantilever as well. And your cantilever should actually split in half. So now the shocks are disconnected, they're all shock absorber-ish. Flip it back over. Right here is a grub screw on the drive shaft connected to the transmission. You're going to want to take that off. Okay, so now what we have to do is the rear linkage for the servo to lock the rear diff right here. So now I'm taking off the shock screws that hold the shocks to the shock mounts on the chassis. I'm gonna ha 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 ha. Okay, yeah. So that took a while. So the shock absorber screws were what was it. So now that we have this fellow, here's the differential casing. Differential casing should not be held together, and it isn't. The ever disgusting rear differential. There it is. So what you're gonna need is, I think this is missing a bearing. So there are 2 screws by the input shaft. 2 here and 2 here. They're 2.5mm screws. Should be 4 more screws, but one's missing, so there's only 3 for me. So there it is. The differential of a Traxxas Summit in the rear. I think I found the problem, and I'm going to leave it at that. My problem has been found. Clicking in the servo. I'm missing a bearing. I don't really know where it went, but I'm missing a bearing. Pretty sure by the looks of this. Now, as you can see, this is my work area. And I just got to the heart of the Summit. I did heart surgery. And this, let me show you what's going on. You see this guy? Right? This little pinion. I found it just in here, like that. Just in here, like that. Let me get something to hold it in there with. So it's in there, right? And it's just kind of moving around. This is just what I'm gonna leave it at. All of this, all my parts over here, everything's separated and organized. Everything's in its own place, and body bag's covered by that. So, thanks for watching, guys, and give you an update later about what's going on with this differential.